My name is Mike Kipngeno. I'm the Cooperative Finance Officer with CLEAR program being implemented by global communities in Kenya. This session, we will distinguish between several types of member compensation and the process of allocation of worker cooperative surplus. We'll also have clarity on equity compensation and how dividends are distributed to members. How is money distributed to members of a worker cooperative? Workers in a worker cooperative are paid in two ways. The first is that they provide labor to the cooperative and get compensated through wages. Wages as an employee are fixed, paid for hours worked or by the number of days or based on the work done. This is the first and most important relationship. If you work for X number of hours, you will be paid Y amount. Alternatively, if a cooperative has 5 members, they work in car expenditures and are paid X amount for their labor. The worker cooperative starts with how many individuals they need, what they need to make, and how much sales the cooperative needs to earn to support the members. It's best to start small and completely support those. Only add members if you are confident in your ability to increase sales. The other relationship is that they are owners. Invest initial equity to the co-op, own a share, and hence are entitled to dividends. This is your pay as the owner. It only occurs when there is profit or excess at the end of the year. Dividend amount is determined by how much labor you contributed. It is not your wage, but the percentage dependent on how much labor you contributed during the year. Let's look at some of the key concepts in wages and dividends. Wages and dividends are in balance. When one rises, the other falls. Consider this as a seesaw. The higher the wage, the lower the dividends. Similarly, if wages fall, you'll have more money to share at the end of the year. Wages are more crucial. If there is anything left over, the dividend is extra. Workers in a worker cooperative prefer to be paid more upfront in a more consistent manner. More often, worker cooperatives pay higher and more consistent wages. Wage compensation takes precedence over dividends. The wage must be sufficient to maintain members and provide an incentive for them to stay. How does this look like? For example, worker Coop A earns Kenya shilling 10,000 and pays Kenya shillings 8,000 in wages and Kenya shillings 1,000 in overheads. In this scenario, 80% goes to wages. Even with a net of Kenya shillings 1,000 to be split at the end of the year, worker Coop B may want to perform financial planning and may decide that it can only pay 5,000 Kenya shillings in wages and Kenya shillings 4,000 in dividends. For greater dividends, it goes with lower wages and larger surplus at the end of the year. What are some of the consequences of worker Coop B? Workers may be unable to meet their expenses if the wages are too low. In the worst case scenario, if members don't acquire what they need, they may leave the cooperative, hence making it more difficult to onboard and train new members. It could also suggest that workers are looking for other opportunities outside the cooperative. As a worker cooperative, plan what you can support and be prudent. Also, a market question. What can be paid and what members require? How do you calculate wages and dividends to members? Wages in a worker cooperative are determined by financial estimate, personnel policies, and individual level of expertise. Dividend calculation depends on different conditions. The first is the cooperative net revenue. The second is the part of surplus. And the third is the dividend paid to each member. When computing dividends, consider the following terms. A wage is a set amount of money paid for labor done. This is compensation for members who work. The co-op net income is calculated by subtracting expenses from income and calculating what is left over at the end of the year. Member dividends are calculated from the excess and distributed to members as owners. To compute this, the cooperative must keep accurate records.